A wall of plant-based milk cartons fills a Canadian grocery store, each one promising to be healthier and cleaner than the next. But government recall records and court documents tell a different story about some of them. In the 7th place, So Delicious coconut milk, owned by food giant Danone, sits in Canadian refrigerated aisles, wrapped in healthy-looking packaging. In 2019, a California lawsuit challenged claims on its carton, like naturally energizing and maximum calcium absorption. Plaintiffs argued the marketing masked a disappointing nutritional reality. This beverage is primarily coconut oil, emulsified in water. A single cup contains about 4 grams of saturated fat, with almost no protein, fiber, iron, or vitamin C. A federal judge ultimately dismissed the lawsuit, ruling these phrases were permissible general wellness statements under regulatory guidelines rather than deceptive health claims. For Canadian shoppers, the takeaway is clear. A lawsuit can fail in court, but the underwhelming nutritional facts on the back of the carton remain exactly the same. In the 6th place, Blue Diamond Almond Breeze sits on Canadian grocery shelves with packaging covered in images of fresh almonds. The actual recipe is far less concentrated. A 2015 New York class action lawsuit cited Blue Diamond's own disclosures, showing that almonds make up only about 2% of the beverage, with water, sugar, and additives filling the rest of the carton. A separate lawsuit challenged the vanilla-flavored versions, alleging the brand relied on synthetic vanillin rather than real vanilla beans. Blue Diamond resolved the vanilla dispute with a $2.6 million settlement without admitting any wrongdoing. It serves as a reminder for shoppers to bypass the front-of-pack marketing and look directly at the nutrition label. In the 5th place, Oatly, the Swedish brand that popularized oat milk in North American cafes, represents a shift from labeling disputes to direct food safety risks. In the summer of 2022, Oatly was swept into a massive voluntary recall by its contract manufacturer, Lions Magnus. The issue was potential contamination with Chronobacter sakazaki and Clostridium botulinum, the same pathogens tied to the infamous Abbott baby formula crisis that year. What began as a recall of 53 products expanded to roughly 90 across multiple brands utilizing the same facility. A 2023 FDA warning letter later revealed that Lions Magnus shipped dozens of batches containing unidentified bacteria without conducting proper investigations. In response, Oatly terminated its relationship with Lions Magnus and shifted production to other co-packers, including a facility in Toronto. For Canadian consumers, the lesson is clear. Even a global household brand is only as safe as the third-party plant packaging its cartons. In the 4th place, Walmart Canada's house brand, Great Value, brings the hidden reality of third-party contract manufacturing straight to the budget aisle. Often positioned as a cheaper alternative to name-brand cartons, Great Value plant-based milks were swept into the same devastating summer 2024 nationwide Listeria recall. Consumers buying these budget-friendly almond beverages soon realized that saving money did not buy them a separate safety system. The cartons were filled and sealed at Juriki Incorporated in Pickering, Ontario, the exact same third-party co-packing facility responsible for the contaminated silk products sitting right next to them on the shelf. This shared production line proves that a lower price point does not insulate you from factory-level risks. In the grocery store, the premium brand and the budget option can share the exact same vulnerability. In the 3rd place, Silk, owned by Danone Canada, represents the most severe food safety crisis in the history of Canadian plant-based milk. In July 2024, the brand initiated a massive nationwide recall of its refrigerated almond, coconut, oat, and cashew beverages. The cause was contamination with Listeria monocytogenes, a robust pathogen that triggered a devastating public health emergency. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency confirmed 20 laboratory-verified illnesses, 15 hospitalizations, and 3 tragic deaths, with cases stretching from Nova Scotia all the way to Alberta. Health officials described it as an unusual and highly lethal outbreak linked directly to a packaged beverage product. The investigation led inspectors straight to a third-party co-packing facility in Pickering, Ontario, operated by Juriki Incorporated. Freedom of Information documents later revealed that inspectors uncovered systemic sanitation failures inside the facility during the crisis. Reports documented condensation dripping from ceilings, peeling paint directly inside the pasteurization area, accumulated garbage, and a complete lack of any listeria hazard analysis or finished product testing. Microbiologists described the wet, compromised environment as a perfect breeding ground for the bacteria. The fallout was swift and catastrophic. The contaminated packaging line never reopened, and by January 2025, Juriki filed for creditor protection, permanently closed all 4 Canadian plants, and laid off hundreds of workers. Former employees, including Rajendran Arumugam, spoke out about the sudden job losses, sharing the heavy emotional and financial toll of the abrupt shutdown. Meanwhile, a class action lawsuit filed in Quebec against Danone Canada, Walmart Canada, and their insurer ended in a $6.5 million civil settlement. For Canadian shoppers, this tragedy connects the hidden risks of outsourced production to a single failed factory floor. In second place, Earth's Own flips the pattern of troubled brands by owning and operating its own production footprint. Headquartered in Burnaby, British Columbia, the Canadian company runs its own manufacturing facilities in Delta, Mississauga, and Quebec City. When the massive 2024 Listeria recall threw the Canadian plant-based milk market into chaos, Earth's Own immediately clarified its position. The company publicly confirmed it had zero connection to the contaminated Juriki plant, pointing instead to its independently owned and operated factories. This direct control over the manufacturing floor changes the stakes for consumer safety. Instead of outsourcing production to third-party co-packers with shared lines, Earth's Own manages its own facilities under strict domestic standards. This hands-on oversight extends directly to ingredient sourcing. The brand bypasses complex international brokers to source its oats directly from farms in Saskatchewan. For shoppers in the grocery aisle, this domestic supply chain offers a clear path of traceability from prairie fields directly to the final carton. By keeping ownership of the entire process from farm to facility, the brand shows how in-house manufacturing serves as a critical defense against food safety risks. Owning the factory instead of outsourcing it is the clearest distinction in this countdown's positive example. And finally, in first place, Nature combines the longest historical track record in Canada with an unblemished safety record. Produced by Natra Foods in Saint-Hyacinthe, Quebec, the company actually began operations back in 1992 under the name Nutrasoya. This makes it recognized as Canada's first plant-based beverage company, pioneering soy and alternative milks decades before oat milk became a mainstream grocery staple. For Canadian consumers looking for accountability, this brand offers a stark contrast to outsourced production. Instead of relying on complex global supply chains or risky third-party co-packers, Nature owns and operates its own state-of-the-art facility, 45 kilometers east of Montreal. This physical ownership allows direct ownership and control over every step of the process. Even their ingredient sourcing remains strictly local, with all of their organic, non-GMO soybeans grown by certified Quebec farmers located within a 100-kilometer radius of the processing plant. The result of this localized, in-house approach is clear. A comprehensive search of Canadian Food Inspection Agency recalls, court filings, and food safety databases yields absolutely no recalls, safety alerts, or consumer class actions against the Natura brand. Decades in business, and not a single major safety failure on the record. When choosing what to pour into your morning coffee, this level of domestic traceability proves that knowing exactly who owns the factory floor is the ultimate safeguard for your family. Across these 7 brands, one truth emerges. Safety isn't about wellness marketing. It's about factory ownership. Outsourced co-packing creates critical blind spots, while owning the facility ensures accountability. On your next grocery trip, flip the carton over, because where your milk is made matters far more than the brand name.